Josh Green here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by Eddie Hearn here. Post-fight, Terri Harper is now a 3-weight world champion. Must be exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great fight, and I think Rhiannon was the slight favourite going into the fight. But she boxed really well, Terri. You know, she used her experience. She boxed really well long. She held, tied her up on the inside and worked her on the inside. Both girls badly hurt in the fight. I really enjoyed it. A really good fight.
I know she put, I believe, 12 pounds on, which is equivalent to a stone today. How much do you think the weight played a part in Terri's performance tonight?
I think 14 pounds is a stone, but I think that I wouldn't be surprised if Rhiannon put on 8, 9, 10. I mean, it's quite standard, to be honest with you. I thought Terri physically looked great on her scales yesterday. Obviously, she's been up at 54, then up at 47. Like, that's just not her weight class. And there was a lot riding on tonight. You know, people talked about it's a final roll of dice. She's 27 years old, but now she's a 3-division world champion, which is a massive achievement.
Really impressive performances from George Liddard and Peter McGrail on the main card as well. Big stoppages, and that will push them forward in their career.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the fighters we've got coming through. I mean, Peter McGrail is a guy that we know, Olympian, one of the best amateurs Britain's ever produced. Had that disastrous 5-second mistake in America. But now, he's been ordered to fight Dennis McCann with the British Boxing Board of Control and the EBU. For me, that's a brilliant fight. Exactly the kind of fight we've got to make. And I thought George Liddard was sensational tonight. 22 years of age. That was a really good performance.
Would a fight like McGrail McCann be targeted for a 5v5, maybe in the UK, or would it be out in Riyadh?
We're already discussing the next 5v5, and McGrail against McCann is on the list. But that fight can land in the UK, it can land in Saudi, it can land on a 5v5. I just want to see it happen. I know I get a bit of stick for losing a lot of these fights, but I just want to see 50-50 fights, and that for me is like Edwards against Yafai, which we announced tonight as well officially. It's just a brilliant fight to make.
Talking of Edwards Yafai, Sonny believes that doesn't happen. He said that in an interview. Yeah, he believes that people on the Yafai side, on the Yafai team, don't want that fight, and he doesn't believe there may be an excuse coming. But I know you've got a press conference on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think if there was going to be an excuse, it would have been tonight after with a bad hand but physically perfect. Announced the fight in the ring, the first face-off, big press conference on Tuesday in Birmingham. So yeah, that fight's happening, and Sonny needs to get his head around it because it's a real fight, one of the best fights in Britain this year.
Who's got the most pressure on them in that fight?
I don't know. I mean, because Sonny's had the defeat, maybe Galal, Olympic gold medalist. If you lose in that fight, it's a big step backwards in terms of you're back to kind of European level. And both guys, this fight's for the interim WBC world title, so important fight for both.
I know we've had your reaction to last weekend, Anthony Joshua's defeat to Daniel Dubois. I was just wondering, what sort of commercial hit would it be if Anthony Joshua was to decide that he was to hang up the gloves? What would that mean sort of for Matchroom? It would obviously be personally, I'm sure, difficult. But
to be honest with you, financially, we make a lot of money. And AJ fighting, obviously every time he fights financially we do well, but compared to the sort of group revenue, and particularly to boxing's entire revenue, it's quite a small portion really, but it's the nature and the stature of the man and the profile of the events. So yeah, I mean, financially it doesn't make a difference to us, but personally it makes a big difference to us because it's been an incredible journey, and I think for British fight fans as well it makes a big difference. So he's definitely not retiring yet. I think you're going to see him for at least another year, which is 2 to 3 fights. And then we'll see. But, the next decision is going to be very important.
Who do you think would fill the shoes in your Matchroom stable of an Anthony Joshua?
I don't think anyone, honestly, will ever fill his shoes. And I'm not. When I say that, people were like, "Oh, there's better fighters than him." Yeah, maybe. But commercially, no one will be able to do what Anthony Joshua has done for boxing. I mean, certainly not in the next 4 or 5 years. There's no one in boxing at the moment that could even come close to being commercially the size of Anthony Joshua. So hopefully there will be more, but he is a one-off for sure.
I believe there was a meeting between yourselves, Frank and Turki, Alalshikh, to decide the future, I guess, of Conor Benn. Is there anything you can tell me about that and when we might see some news?
His Excellency wants to see all the biggest fights. He knows Eubank against Benn is the biggest fight in British boxing, outside of AJ against Fury. So once Conor is confirmed when he'll be allowed to fight again in this country, you will see him in a very, very big fight. Whether that's against Chris Eubank or someone else, it's coming.
Do you believe there will be a warm-up fight before that, or do you think you're straight back in?
I think he'll be straight back into a massive fight.
Cheers for your time. screen here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by promoters Eddie Hearn and Izzy Asif here in Sheffield. Eddie, nice to see you supporting Izzy's show. It really sold out, incredible show.
Yeah, the atmosphere's great. You know, I mean, we're in here tomorrow night as well. It worked really well. We had a show like 3 weeks' notice. We had a lot of cancellations. Izzy helped us out. We had the weighing up here earlier, and I've been watching the show. Great atmosphere, great fights, and of course live on DAZN. So great for the platform and fight fans.
How much of a logistical problem was it when it was taken from Sheffield, then down to London, and then back up here?
I've done it 100 times. Boxing's such a disaster business, but you know, you need to sometimes just do what you got to do, and it all worked out in the end for us. And you know, thank you to Izzy and GBM for allowing us to use the facility tomorrow night as well. And great, as I said, the platform gets to see. Now, we talked earlier about small hall shows. This ain't a small hall show in the slightest. This is a genuine TV event, and they're doing great.
Izzy, biggest show yet. I mean, sold out here at the Cannon Medical Arena. Some huge fighters on the card. This is where it's going with GBM, isn't it?
Yeah, very no secret. I want to be up there with the big boys. I want to be doing deals with Eddie, and he knows that. He knows the kind of vision I've got, and this is a stepping stone of what you're going to see. We put great shows on before, had great production, but now you're going to see the levels of fighters. I want to be mixing in them big nights and big fights, and this is a start of what's to come for GBM.
How much has adding DAZN really up the production, up the value of your shows?
It's massive platform, the biggest sporting platform in the world. You know, home of boxing. It's got the best promoters in the world on it. And we're alongside these guys, so we can only benefit. Commercially, it's great. You know, people want to be on a great platform. Viewership. How many subscribers have they got, DAZN?
Tens of millions worldwide.
Millions and millions of people got eyes on the show. Why not? Where else would it be but the home of boxing, DAZN?
I have to ask you one question, both of you, about Chris Eubank Jr.'s outburst the other day. He was aiming at all promoters on stage, really. Everybody was mentioning, including Frank Smith, who's obviously close from a personal point of view. What was your reaction to that?
Oh, we're off a duck's back. I don't give a fuck. I just found it funny that he had to apologise an hour later, because he come out like some kind of renegade hero and got his backside smashed about, told off, and had to apologise because he was factually incorrect as well. And he's a silly boy, and he would have got sued for a lot of money. So we accept his apology.
What do you think motivates something like that when he goes into it?
It was a setup. They asked for the question to be asked.
Thank you both for your time.